My life completely shattered the day the judge hammered the gavel and declared a ruling that felt like a punishment for crimes I never committed. My wife stood across the courtroom with the kind of grin that only someone driven by greed could wear. She walked away with our $4.2 million California house, full custody of the kids, and the confidence of someone who thought she had destroyed me forever. "You'll never see the kids again," she whispered as she passed by, her voice carrying a cruelty I didn't recognize anymore. I remember standing frozen in place, feeling the weight of losing everything I had built over 15 years. My family, my home, my stability, my purpose. I left the courtroom with nothing but a box of old documents, my car keys, and a pain so heavy it felt like it was crushing my lungs every time I tried to breathe. I had nowhere to go, so I drove all the way to Ohio, to my dead mother's basement, a dusty and forgotten storage of memories I never wanted to face. The house smelled like old paper and loneliness, exactly how my heart felt. Boxes were stacked up like walls protecting secrets, and the silence inside the house was louder than any fight I'd ever had with my wife. For days I barely ate, barely slept, barely moved. My mind kept replaying my wife's laughter in the courtroom, the way her lawyer presented twisted stories, the way she pretended the kids were scared of me, lies, all lies, and I had no way to fight them. When my grief finally turned numb, I forced myself to start cleaning the basement. Every box reminded me of my mother, her handwritten labels, her neatly tied strings, her habit of hiding things in strange places. While pushing an old dresser, I felt cold air hitting my arm from behind the furnace. Annoyed, I pushed deeper and discovered a metal surface behind the wall, a safe, a hidden safe. My heartbeat went wild because my mother was careful, private, but not secretive enough to hide something this big unless it mattered. When I finally wiped off the dust, I froze. The combination scratched onto the metal wasn't random numbers. It was my birthday. My hands trembled so violently I could barely turn the dial. When the safe finally clicked open, the echo felt like the whole basement took a breath. Inside was a thick envelope with my name written in my mother's soft, familiar handwriting. Under it were stacks of documents, notarized papers, old keys, and files labeled with dates I didn't recognize. I opened the envelope first. The letter inside began with, "If you're reading this, everything I feared has already happened." My stomach dropped. The more I read, the colder I felt. She explained that for years she had been protecting me from things I didn't even know existed: financial battles, inheritance disputes, and a silent war with my wife's family that she never wanted to burden me with. She wrote that my wife's family had tried to manipulate her assets before, and she had built hidden protections so they could never reach them. She warned that if my marriage ever fell apart, they would try to take everything from me the same way they tried to take everything from her. I sat there shaking, reading every line like I was hearing my mother's voice again. Then I opened the files. My jaw dropped. There were property deeds, multiple properties, not just one. Houses, land, investments I never knew my mother owned. And all of them had been slowly transferred to my name without my knowledge. There were also bank statements showing accounts filled with money I never touched, money she had been saving for me for years. Then came the real shock. Documents showing that my wife had been digging into my mother's finances long before our divorce. There were emails printed out, screenshots of messages, and transcripts of calls where she and her family discussed how to push him out legally, how to get control of the California house, how to drain him clean before he knows what hit him. My hands went ice cold. These were plans, schemes, deliberate attacks on my life that had been happening behind my back. Then I found a second envelope sealed with red tape. On the front, in bold letters, my mother had written, "They finally found you." My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd pass out. Inside was a letter revealing that my wife's family had discovered the hidden inheritance my mother left me, and that the divorce was their move to seize control. She had created legal walls around the inheritance, but those walls required me to activate them. She ended the letter by saying, "Take everything in this safe to the law firm at the address enclosed. They have instructions. They will protect you the way I no longer can." I didn't sleep that entire night. The next morning, I drove straight to the law firm with all the documents. When I walked in, The receptionist looked at the envelope and immediately brought me to a private office. The lawyer reviewed the documents, then looked at me and said, "Your mother prepared this case years ago. She knew this day would come. We've been waiting for you." What followed felt unreal. They reopened the custody case with evidence of manipulation. They filed fraud charges regarding the California house transfer. They presented proof that my ex-wife's family had been plotting financial theft. The judge who had ruled against me earlier had no choice but to reopen everything. Within weeks, new hearings were scheduled. Lies unraveled. My ex-wife's confidence cracked. Her family panicked. And for the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't drowning anymore. I wasn't powerless. I wasn't broken. I was finally standing on the truth my mother left behind, truth strong enough to destroy every lie built against me. The inheritance I never knew about became the weapon that saved my future. And the family that tried to bury me, they never realized that the man they tried to destroy had a mother who planned farther ahead than any of them could imagine. They thought they won. They thought I was finished. They thought taking my kids and my house would crush me. But now it's my turn to take back everything they stole. And this time I'm not fighting alone.